My name is Barbara Bynum, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the Forum. Thanks again to CASA for hosting us. It has really allowed us to grow the program. It's great to see so many more people here on a weekly basis, and we're able to fit everyone in, and no one has to stand by a trash can. If you are not getting weekly emails from the Forum, please talk to me or Kathy Heavers. We keep that list as current as possible and send out an email every Saturday morning with what the next speaker is going to be. So today is the second part of a series we put together called What's Driving Our Local Economy. Many of you were able to join us when we talked last time about agriculture, and I thought that was great. But there's also a lot of small manufacturing here in Montrose, and they are not bringing their products to the farmers market, so a lot of us don't necessarily know that they're here or what they do, but they sell their products worldwide, which I think is really impressive. So we've gathered three of the best names in Montrose to come and talk to you this morning. We have Ivy Fife, who is the marketing manager with Colorado Yurt, and she has been there for 10 years. When they moved to Montrose from Widgray, she used to be an artist for them. Her background, and she's very talented, was painting the teepees. And after a couple of years doing that, she moved into the marketing position and has been doing that for 10 years. Sue Frank with TEI Rock Drills. Sue's been with the family company for 30 years, and she is the CEO, and she's been the CEO for just over 10 years. Before that, she was the COO. And last we have Beau Fauscette with Gordon Composites, and he is the sales manager and the customer service person, and he worked his way up into that position from the sales floor, and he says he's very happy in that position, that although there would be opportunities for him to move up, it would mean leaving Montrose. And he graduated from Montrose High, and he really likes this community and wants to stay here. So each of them is going to take a few minutes to talk about their company and what they do. And then at the end of all three, we'll have questions. And that way, if you have a question and you want each of them to answer it, or one in particular, we'll just save all of those questions till the end. Fantastic. Great. So let's give our first speaker, Ivy Fife, a big round of applause.
I am the marketing manager for Colorado Yurt Company, and I'm going to show just a short slideshow. There's a video in it that explains a little bit about our company, and I'll talk as we go along in the slideshow. We are a local Montrose company. We've been in business for 43 years, so haven't been in Montrose the whole time, but we've been here a good long time. Down here is Dan and Emma Kiger. They are the owners of the company. Okay, let me see what I'm doing. There we go. How do I turn it up? Sorry.
So the best laid plan. Watch out.
I think on her computer, Barb.
Okay, hold on. Let me turn my sound up on my computer. Let's try again.
The Colorado Yurt Company in Montrose was started 40 years ago by Dan and Emma Kiger.
We started out living in a teepee house, and it was such a beneficial experience.
Our friends asked us to build one for them. Then we had 5 teepee orders. We're in business. We're in Colorado State Parks. You can go check in online. And we just did several hundred tents and teepees for the Coachella Rock Festival. We've exported to France. We're shipping to Australia today, all over the world. 15 yurts to Mexico. You know, somebody asked me recently our most gratifying achievement. Really, it's the people that we've met, and our employees, and our suppliers, and our customers. Those relationships are really irreplaceable. So we've got a staff of about 35 people that come to work every day here. Very folks that have been working for us for over 20 years. We're continuing to innovate. We introduced the Alpine Winter Stout here, best engineering. You'll find that at the top of Telluride and Monarch. It's an exciting future for the company.
And it's really just about making it available to anybody.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for Coloradans to get away from the city, away from the buzzing and beeping and traffic, and out in nature. It's an opportunity to get out in one.
40 years later, it's still about enjoying the outdoors. Colorado Yurt Company. Get out in one.
Okay, so we make yurts. Some of you may not be familiar with what that word is, but it is the structure that's based on the traditional Mongolian herder's hut. It's a round structure, and in Mongolia it is used as a nomadic structure. It moves. Our yurts are engineered structures that are intended to be left in place. They meet snow and wind load requirements and can be left up year-round. As we said in the video, we have them at Monarch, at Telluride, in Alaska. Hawaii is a big market for us because you can live full-time in a yurt in Hawaii because of the lack of cold temperatures. Some of our biggest customers in the yurt world are state and provincial parks. We're in Colorado State Parks, Utah, Minnesota. We are doing a pilot program right now in Tennessee. We also are providing yurts for Manitoba and Alberta. This photo here up on the upper left is a resort in Mongolia, which was really cool that we're sending yurts to Mongolia. But as you see in the photo, they also have traditional Mongolian yurts and they have our yurts. And then they also ordered a large yurt that can be used as a restaurant for them. We have 5 different sizes and we make each yurt custom. So our customers order their yurt and then we build it and send it out to them. We also make teepees. We started as a teepee company in 1976. The teepees we make are traditional Sioux style teepees. So we make 9 different sizes of teepees. Volume-wise, we still are doing more teepees than anything else. The third product we make are tents, and they are cabin-style platform tents. This is the fastest growing part of our business. There's been a new trend, I guess, that's glamping. Anybody? It's glamour camping, which is basically camping where you get to sleep in a bed and have a lot of luxuries. And it's been a big part of the tent growth. Before, tents were pretty much a summer camp business, and now we're seeing a lot of resorts and campgrounds and even people putting them in their backyard and putting them on Airbnb or VRBO. So the tent business is growing the fastest. The teepee business is the highest volume still. The yurt business is definitely our highest revenue product. Here's a few dates that we have. We were founded in 1976. The company moved to Montrose in 1994, and we've been in our current location since 2001. We are over across Rio Grande from the high school, just west of that area. The photo collage there is kind of some historic photos of us and the owners of the company over the years. We do sell our products worldwide, but everything is made here in Montrose. We are shipping the majority of our orders. We do deliver some locally, and some people do pick up, but I would say 85% of what we do is shipped. Our customers include campgrounds, summer camps, resorts, state and national parks, ranches. Vacation rentals are a big growing thing for us. Spas, schools, ski areas. A lot of people are interested in what we do. We have seen aggressive growth in the last few years, and if we reach our customers, since we don't really have a lot of walk-in traffic or a storefront that people come to, our website is really important. If you visit our website, you'll see it's extensive. We've got a lot of information, a lot of photos, and a lot of just things that people are interested in on our website. Plus, we also do email marketing, social media, and we write a blog that's got a lot of customer stories. We do go to some trade shows, mostly summer camp oriented. We also go to the National RV Park Convention and Boy Scouts and Girl Scout camps. We go to an event over on the Front Range that targets tiny house enthusiasts. That's been something else that we've seen people become interested in our product because they're interested in simplifying and living smaller. And you can live in a yurt with that thought in mind. Then we also go to a few local music festivals. We have sponsored Telluride Blues and Brews and Jazz Festival the last few years. We do Ridgeway Rendezvous. We have provided the teepee at the Garden of Lights and a few other local events. We employ about 45 people now, and we have 3 areas of manufacture. We have a wood shop that makes the wooden structure that is the base of the yurt. We have 2 fabric shops, the yurt fabric and then the teepee and tent fabric. Different skills for each one of those areas of manufacturing. We always are interested in hiring new skilled workers. We do have trouble finding good people who know how to sew. So in the last 5 or 6 years, we've started screening for aptitude and then training them. And really the last couple of years, we have seen a tightening in the labor pool here. There's been a little more wage pressure, and just finding good, reliable people that will come to work and take pride in their work has been a little harder the last couple of years, but we still have a really good core crew that is doing wonderful work for us. One of the questions was, why are we happy to be in Montrose? Really, it's been just a great community for us. We've benefited from some of the Montrose Economic Development programs, and that was what originally brought us to our location where we are now. And the quality of life, of course. And the other thing that we're a Colorado brand. We have it in our name. So being in Montrose really adds authenticity for us. The last thing is our challenges. And to tell you the truth, our biggest challenge is shipping. We have trouble with supplies at times coming in, fabric and things like that we're bringing in from the Front Range. You know, they close a pass, we don't get our fabric in here, and then our teepee doesn't get out the door. The other thing is outbound shipping. At times it is tough to find trucks to come in here because they don't have a load to put on the truck to take out after they drop off what they're bringing to us, and vice versa. So, and the other thing is international shipping. We're pretty expensive for our customers that are in international places just because we are so landlocked. But we have found a few ways around that. The yurts to Mongolia, we just loaded a container and they picked it up and didn't unload it until it got on site over there. So it's a story of the Colorado Yurt Company. If you have questions, I do have some brochures that I brought that you're welcome to take at the end, and I'll answer questions when it's question time. Thank you.
Fantastic. And the social media is worth checking it out for Ivy's artwork on teepees alone. And then when people take pictures of their yurt, it's always in the most stunning location. So it's some really good eye candy. Okay, Sue Frank, come on up and tell us about TEI Rock Drills. Let's give her a big round of applause.
Well, I'm Sue Frank. I'm the president and CEO of TEI Rock Drills. We've been in business since 1980, so we're coming up on our 40th year. I was expecting it to be like more of a question and answer type thing, so I didn't bring anything to show you. We have a great corporate video on our website. We moved to Montrose in 1988 because we were getting more and more into manufacturing, and so we needed to expand the manufacturing facilities. And we could really, at that time, move anywhere as long as we had Federal Express. So as long as we could get parts out overnight to our customers, we could pretty much move wherever we wanted to. I started working for the company when they moved over here in 1988. I was working as a manager at the corporate office in Enterprise Leasing before that, and basically leaving my son off at daycare at 7 in the morning and picking him up at 7 at night, and felt like Montrose would give us a better quality of life, and it's definitely done that for our entire family. I believe it does that for our employees as well. We employ 45 people, not including sales representatives and distributors that we have around the world. We have exported to, I was trying to think if there was a company, we really have not done much in Eastern Europe, but we have exported to pretty much every other country, you know, China, Australia, New Zealand, Thailand, you know, UK, Spain, we export everywhere. About 70% of our business right now is the US and Canada. Those are still the strongest economies right now. There's a lot going on in Europe with the Brexit. We heard a lot about that. I just got back on the late flight last night from Munich. We had been in Munich for 10 days for the Bauma Expo, which is the largest construction expo in the world. And we usually attend, I would say, 3 large trade shows a year. We've got Con Expo, World of Concrete, Mine Expo. So what we do is we manufacture drilling equipment. So we make drilling attachments that attach onto excavators. We do limited access drills that can go inside of a building. One of the local businesses that we've sold to is Mountain High Wall, and they've done a lot with micropiles where they've actually lifted up and reinforced the foundations where there's been some sinking, like the Adobe does to everybody's house, where they've actually taken the micropiles, they drill down to bedrock, and then they can actually lift the structure. And I've seen it where windows and doors didn't open and close the way they should, and the brick was actually coming off the side of the house, and actually like brought everything right back into alignment. All the doors and windows opened again, and it's just amazing some of the things that they do. So we concentrate in that small micropile market. Those are the drills that we make. I was trying to think of any other questions? Challenges. I would say that the mountain passes being closed this year has been a huge challenge. So we've had times during the week where basically the trucks just couldn't get in here to get the equipment out. So that's been a bit of a challenge. With FedEx, we've been able to, honestly, any place in the world, FedEx can get anything within 2 days to practically anywhere anymore. So that's pretty incredible. And I guess the thing that I see as we're moving on, that the world keeps getting smaller and smaller. You have the internet. Most of our sales are done. I would say, online, not directly online, but they seek us out and they find us online, and that's how they find our product as well. We don't have really any walk-in business in Montrose. And then we're probably looking to expand our manufacturing facility. We've taken more of an apprentice type thought to our employees. So we will hire employees that don't have any experience, and then we'll train them in machining, running the CNC, computer operated. Everything's becoming more and more computer operated, in welding, in just general hydraulic mechanics. And we've found that that's been a really good model for us. We have employees that have been with us 20 plus years, so we have a really good base, and we're still looking to expand in that way with our employees and continue that apprenticeship type approach.
Do you have trouble finding new employees?
We have. There's more people moving into the community. So there's, with Mayfly, I know we're looking for a couple of machinists. They're looking for machinists. So that's made it a little bit more difficult. But we've also been able to attract people. So everybody talks about the millennials. What are we going to do with the millennials? Do they really want to work? And there's you kind of hear that constant complaint. Nobody really wants to work anymore. But trying to take a different look at that, it's like, well, what are they really asking for? So you have a generation of people that, so I grew up I graduated in the 80s. So in the 80s, it was all about work, and you were going to make more money, and what were you going to do? Work, 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 work. So you have a generation that is looking for a better quality of life. So one of the things that we've done is we've actually gone to 410s in our manufacturing facility. We used to have overtime all the time. So we've gone to 410s. We have no overtime. We are producing more product, and we haven't added that many employees. But just being able to give them that 3-day weekend has been a huge thing, and we've actually had a few people, our chief engineer that we hired 7 years ago, he actually moved from New York because he was looking, I kind of looked at him like, okay, you're young, you're just kind of out of school. And again, he apprenticed under my father to take over as the chief engineer. And I said, if you're looking for nightclubs and like New York City life, you do not want to be in Montrose. He's like, no, we're about the outdoors. And I love that it's going to be the 4-day work week was a huge thing for him. So we've just found that we've just had to rethink a little bit about what's important and try to adjust to that. And it seems like it's worked out really well for us.
Thank you.
And next, Beau Fauscette with Gordon Composites to tell us a little bit about what they make, where they're located, who they hire, where they ship, all that good stuff. And you brought some show and tell.
Of course. Right, so I'm Beau Fauscette. I graduated high school here in Montrose, Colorado. Moved away for a little while, came back because Montrose is such a great place. I lived in Nashville for a lot of years. Nashville's an awesome city, and just like Sue was saying, it makes you think, why would you leave the big city and the football team and so on and so all the concerts, and Montrose is awesome. It's a great place to live, and it takes being away from it a little while to respect what we really have here. So Gordon Composites, what we produce is we're across from the airport, and we make a high-performance structural composite. And so a composite is just anything that is composed of many parts or elements, okay? So how do we make our stuff? What do we do? Whatever. So we take a raw glass fiber that comes in a ball like this, and literally this one little end right here will have a few thousand individual glass hairs in it. So that's what you see here, a bunch of glass fiber. Then we're really good at aligning that fiber and taking a resin and a hardener and making a piece of material out of it. And this piece of material, you can add some pigment to it or whatever, but this piece of material is some of the strongest material in the world. And some of the things that this material does is just incredible and blows my mind every day. But we supply a lot of the archery industry, a lot of the bow limbs, probably about 75-80% of the bow limbs in the world on compound bows, crossbows, traditional bow limbs are made with our composite material out of Montrose, Colorado. We sell all over the world. We employ 65 employees, do about $20 million worth of business a year right here out of Montrose, Colorado. One of our big industries is the chair spring industry, which is kind of interesting. So your Herman Miller, your Leggett & Platt, all your high-end office chairs, they're all riding on a spring from Gordon Composites right here in Montrose, Colorado. We'll do about 3 million chair springs a year. So there's a lot of people sitting on a lot of Montrose, Colorado product out there. And, it's kind of interesting, some of the challenges that we face and with just our material is getting people to use our material. These chair spring guys for years just used a piece of steel. Steel's cheap, it's easy to acquire. You can ride on it for a while before it breaks, but when we finally talked them into using our composite, now the chair went from having a 1-year warranty to having a lifetime warranty. A steel spring will flex 30,000-40,000 times before it finally breaks. This will go millions of cycles before it ever breaks. So that's why the archery industry is so high on it. And it's used in a myriad of other industries as well. Diving board springs, almost a no-brainer. A diving board spring is traditionally made out of steel, sits next to water or salt water, most corrosive thing for steel. Now they make them out of composites. They never rust, they never break, you never have to replace it. It's pretty interesting. You know, we've been here since 1995. The company was founded in 1953 in San Diego, California. You may think, why would the Gordons want to move from San Diego to Montrose? Man, they loved it here. They actually had a deal in Grand Junction, Colorado, and they were traveling from Grand Junction back to San Diego and coming through here and stopped, and the wife loved the place, and they talked to the city, and the city made them a phenomenal deal, and we've been here ever since, and don't plan on leaving. The Gordon family sold the business in 1996 to the PolyOne Corporation. PolyOne Corporation, 7,000 employees, 41 business units worldwide, so we have horsepower now, but they want us to stay in Montrose. They like what we do here. They like our team and what we bring to the table. We do a lot of things here in Montrose. It's pretty innovative for the corporate world. The 410s, which both of my previous speakers spoke of, we do the same thing. Our employees love the 410s, and then as the corporate world seen that we were doing it, they rolled out the 410s for the rest of their companies. And they're finding that it's just incredible to give these people that extra day off, to have them come to work on Monday, recharge, re-energized, and ready to roll. And so I'm very proud to work for Gordon Composites. Mike Gordon was a good friend of mine, and the PolyOne Corporation was really taking care of us as well. You know, some of the challenges we face, employees, you know, everybody faces that. All three of us, four of us are all looking for machinists. We have CNCs, we do the exact same thing TEI does, Ross does, Mayfly does, and it can be challenging. We're all digging for the same employees, and our talent pool is shallow at Montrose, so we have to take some of the approaches that Sue does, and we have to bring some people on by aptitude and just having a great background as a skilled worker in another industry, and we'll train them to work in our industry as well. Some of our logistical challenges that we face are the exact same things that TEI and the Yurt Company face is shipping logistics. Getting trucks in here when we need them to, getting trucks over the pass, shipping international. I ship all over the world as well. I'll ship to China, Korea, Bolivia, Sri Lanka, you name it, we ship there, Germany, Italy, and we face the same logistical challenges, and a lot of times we do the same thing the Yurt Company does. We'll load a container full of parts, and then we'll send that to a company, and a lot of times that works out really well, and you can get around the logistical stuff a lot of times if you can just plan for it. You know, it can become challenging with the weather. We can't predict Mother Nature, but in the same breath, if you add a little lead time in there, a lot of times we can get over that hurdle. You know, Montrose is a great place to live. Our employees, you know, love it here. The 410s gives them that extra day to get out here in this wilderness and do the fun things that we do around here, ski, bike, hike, you know, fish, hunt, whatever. And so just a little bit, show you a couple of the products we make just for fun. So here's a traditional bow. Traditional bow has this black piece of material in the front and back of it. That's a piece of fiberglass material we make right down the road. And they add this bow for strength, durability. You know, this fiberglass won't break like the wood will. It won't dent. And it takes this bow from probably a 30-pound bow to a 45-pound bow by just putting these skins on it. They'll put these skins inside of the bow sometimes for a color. Maybe they'll take a blue skin and run it through there, laminate it all together, and now you'll have a blue stripe through it. And again, we'll add some strength as well. You know, here's another good one here is a protrusion that's done at one of our sister companies, good old Montrose Indian lacrosse stick. Scott Locke loves these. But this is something we did for the Montrose lacrosse team. Donated a bunch of these to them. Again, made just out of a composite. We take our composite, put it together, run it through a die, and then we can make this type of product. Here in Montrose, though, we mostly focus on this raw material that we make the chair springs out of. We make all the bow limbs in the world out of. The World Cup boat, the Oracle, that won the World Cup a few years ago, had our sail battens in it. Sail batten is just a piece of fiberglass material that helps hold the sail in its shape. But with our material being to flex as many times as it can without breaking, it's a perfect application for a sail. Sit there and flex on that sail all day long, never break. We make vibratory conveyor springs too that are pretty interesting. So you got these vibratory conveyor, which is basically just a big table or a trough that'll move like McDonald's French fries. So like you've seen on TV or whatever, you'll see French fries and chips and stuff, Skittles going down a vibrating table from one station to another. Well, those vibrating springs that keep that table going are made here in Montrose. So every French fry that McDonald's produces goes across one of our springs. So tell your kids that and grandkids that when they're out there eating McDonald's fries, that they cruised across a Montrose, Colorado spring. And then bow limbs, you know, we can take and we can water jet them out into different shapes. But again, this is nothing more than just our plain bar stock. It all starts right here with some yarn and fiber, and then it turns into a piece of really high performance composite that's just renowned across the world. We really have no competition because nobody's figured out how to do it like we do it. And we're pretty sole source for a lot of the archer industry. That hurts their feelings, but that's okay. We're awesome at it and we can't help it, you know. So that's just how that is. And yeah, but you know, that's a little bit about what we do, why we're here, you know, here. But Gordon's moved here because Montrose is a beautiful community. You know, they were willing to deal with the logistics and the shallow talent pool just to be able to live here and have the quality of life that we do. You know, the air, the water, the lack of traffic. You know, we really have a great place to live here in Montrose. But I'll leave a couple of these up here for you guys after we get through speaking. If anybody wants to look at any of this, has any questions or whatever, definitely can answer those for you. But I don't know if there's anything else. You feeling pretty good about that?
Great.
All right. Thanks, guys.
So I'm going to turn on the other mic and we'll open it up for questions. I think what'll work best is if all three of you come stand up here and we can pass the mic back and forth for answers. And so I will pass the mic around for questions. And if you have a question for a particular person or company, say that. Otherwise, make it clear that your question, that you'd like each of them to answer it. And I see lots of hands, but I saw yours first.
Yeah, I had a question for the composite company. I was under the impression you made like race car bodies and this sort of thing, that high impact, it won't dent, or some reason I thought you did something with aircraft.
Yeah, so a lot of people get misconception of what we do here in Montrose, and that's a very good example. We do make a part for an aircraft, so that's not totally out of the question. We make a laminate material, which is a thin material, which is just our same stock, just made like thin. We make it out of carbon fiber. We actually supply it to a company in Israel that makes drones out of it. So they make real high-end surveillance drones out of our material. But as far as race car bodies and stuff like that, we're pretty much just a raw material supplier, and then people will take our raw material and make it into all these different end products. So we'll sell companies boards of our composite, and they'll take it and cut it, shape it, make a bow limb. They'll make, I mean, just a million different things out of it. We have composite feet and prosthetics that we're into. Snowboards, we do laminates and snowboards. There is some composite stuff. We have a sister company that does a thermoplastic material that are starting to try to form and shape and try to make some bodies and helmets and things like that. That's still kind of in its infancy, but here in Montrose, we'll make this bar stock. We make a lot of office chair springs, that's nothing more than this, sitting in that Herman Miller chair. And you'd be surprised, but this will flex to a 45-degree angle and go right back straight and never break and do it 1 million times, 2 million times. And so that's where our product kind of sells itself.
Thanks.
For all three of you, do your products, and I may not have the right word, that have patent or copyright protection?
Ours do not. We make a yurt that is similar. There's a couple other companies that make a similar yurt. We have features and product and upgrades and things that we do that they don't do. But the only thing that we have that is really proprietary is our engineering. We have certain things that we have paid engineering firms to certify and design for us that is proprietary. Otherwise, no.
So we chose not to go down the patent road. because we don't want to tell people how we make our stuff. So we keep everything very proprietary and very in-house, behind blue curtains. We kind of keep it secret. So that's where we're not protected by that, for the fact that when you do enter into a patent situation, you have to detail exactly how you're doing the process, and we don't want to share that information.
We own 8 worldwide patents. And you're right, it's a big question of whether or not you want to do that or not, but we thought with the technology that we were using that it was worth patenting. And then we also have, I think probably everybody has this anymore, but confidentiality and trade secret. So there's some of our processes that people can't know about as well.
Can you talk about the career path for youth, in dealing with your apprentice programs, as far as teaching them how to sew, weld, the things that are particular to your businesses?
I don't know that we actually have a formal apprentice program, but we have taken a stance that we'll hire people without experience, because if you have somebody that wants to work and wants to learn and knows that they can make a career out of and stay in this community where they want to be, we found that you can really find some really good people, and we've just had really good success with that. And then we get them, all of our welders are certified in as far as CNC machinists. They'll work up to where they can actually do the programming and that sort of thing. So we've just found it to be an excellent, and then even as much as a higher up position like our chief engineer, to me that we could offer a young man, he was probably 2 years out of college, but that we were able to offer him basically a 6-year apprentice, which gave him time to get to the knowledge that he needed to know, under if anybody ever has met my father, they know that he's a brilliant and great person, and I was like, this is an opportunity that I hope you truly appreciate.
So Gordon Composites, one thing we do for the youth in a sort of a mentoringship is we collaborate with Brian Simpson's engineering class at the high school, and we will bring in interns from the high school and from the Colorado School of Mines. And we usually will have a college intern and a high school intern, typically at the same time, and we'll rotate through those. We'll have a couple, 3 different interns a year, and we just expose them to what we do, to the composite industry and to manufacturing as a whole. And about twice a year, Brian Simpson will bring his engineering class through, and we just try to show them the different career opportunities that we provide and that other manufacturers in the area would provide as well.
We don't have an official internship or mentorship program, but what we do is we've always hired quality people to come in, and they'll start at a low level, and we promote from within. We've had kids come in that really didn't have any skills coming in, and now they're a lead on one of our manufacturing floors. So as we look at our manufacturing employees, most of our employees are in manufacturing, and most of them started walking in the door without the skills and have really learned. And then we've promoted them up to some more professional type things. And we do try to start at a living wage so that they want to stay with us and want to start their family and want to stay in Montrose.
Thanks.
So for the yurt, do the clients erect their own yurt? And then for all of you, what is your energy use and waste stream like?
Most of our customers do set up their own yurts. We do have a limited, within a geographic area, we can send a crew out to do it. We do have a solar array on our manufacturing facility over there, and we really try to, utilize as much recycling and that sort of thing that we can. Does that answer your question?
So as far as our waste stream and energy efficiency, Last year, over the last year and a half, we've replaced every single light, interior and exterior, with all LEDs. And that alone, in the first year, we saved over $100,000 in electric, over just switching to LEDs. And then waste stream, we try to utilize as much of our board as we can. So we'll try to make our boards custom fit the customer's requirements, so that we have a very minimal waste coming off of that product. And so we don't like to throw away any of it. And so we'll generate a dumpster every couple of weeks that we'll send to the landfill. And it's glass, it's biodegradable, and eventually it'll just turn into rock again. So works pretty well.
We went to the LED lights as well. I don't think I have an exact number on that though. So we're always everybody's always looking for ways to be more energy efficient and conscientious of the environment. Most of our waste is probably, we use biodegradable cooking oils and things like that in our machining centers. And then we did put in geothermal heating when we added a new building on, because we could drill the holes for that, so there was a way to prove that you could do that too. And then as far as like, most of our waste is probably metal, so that's really easy to recycle. So we've got a metal chip bin, and then we've got more solid metals that we'll recycle through RCLA.
Well, a question for all three of you. If you know, what's your company's gross revenues on average over the past couple of years?
Well, we sold $12 million in product in the last year, and then we're planning to grow to $13.8 million this year.
We average about 19 to 20 million a year in sales.
We were about 5.2 last year, and we have about an 8% growth margin that we're shooting for.
And these are primary dollars, which is the best part. Okay. See a hand back here.
Different question for each of you. For yours, what kind of foundation options do you need? For Gordon, what's the difference between your composite and carbon fiber? And the third is, maybe I missed it, but what does TEI stand for?
Yurts are intended to be put on a permanent platform. We have plans on our website that people download. It can be anything from a deck with, the yurt needs to be on a raised footprint, so it can be just a round deck that fits the yurt. It can be a large deck with a round raised footprint. We use SIPs, structural insulated panels, for that occasionally, and some people even put them on a round concrete slab.
All right, so we actually produce carbon fiber. And all carbon fiber is this just a fiber just like this. This is considered an e-glass fiber, and I get carbon fiber in the same array. It comes in a ball of yarn like this, a bunch of individual fibers of carbon, and then we'll take the carbon fiber, we'll align it, and we'll make a piece of material just like this that'll be a carbon fiber bar as well. So the only difference between the carbon fiber and the glass flexes because the glass will bend before it breaks. Carbon fiber will break before it bends because it's a much stronger material. But we produce the carbon fiber for the drone material. They need the strength in the wings and in certain flaps and stuff on the drone. So we produce both, and both have its uses in the composite industry.
TEI stands for Technological Enterprises Incorporated, but we haven't used that name in quite a few years. Started out as a consulting firm for the Bureau of Mines to help with noise control, so that's kind of where that name came from.
I have a question for you. I'm just curious as to how much automation is used in each one of your industries. What percent of your manufacturing is automated?
I would say that depending on what you're talking about, because automation could be robots and things like that. We don't have any of that, but almost all of our machining is done with CNC equipment, which is more automated. Our QC is done through a CMM computerized control unit to QC the parts. And then even our welders have an automatic computerized feed rate to them. So it still requires a person there, but there's just more, it's becoming more and more computerized, so it maybe takes more of the guesswork out of it for the operator.
So we run a lot of Cat 50 mills as well, and so that is a form of automation, going from doing everything by hand, slitting a board through a slitter, and then running through a sander and whatever. The Cat 50s can do that in different passes using a tool changer. But we do employ some robots. We brought robotics into our facility because our material gets heavy. When you make one of these boards in 7 feet, and it's a couple feet wide, whatever, it gets heavy. And we kind of have a sort of a golden rule in our facility that we don't want our employees to lift over 35 pounds. And so we try to use robotics to put these boards up onto pieces of equipment. Now, we still have to have employees run this robot, and they still have to run the equipment that finishes the product, but the automation is to help us be more efficient. I can run a bigger, longer, heavier board. I can get more pieces out of that board, and I don't have to have one of my employees toting a 70, 80-pound board. I use a robot for that. And so that's where some of our automation comes in, for stacking boxes, putting boards onto pieces of equipment. We still have operators that have to run that equipment, but we're trying to take some of the load off of them. We need them to last for a long time. So that's why we try to do that.
0. Everything is handcrafted.
Handcrafted. Any other questions back here?
Okay, this is for all three of you. Are you also ISO 9001 certified?
And what is that?
I don't know what that means.
It's for continuous improvement.
I honestly can't speak to that. I'm not knowledgeable in that area.
So we are not. We have pursued that and started down that road at different times and have discontinued that for one reason or another. We do have a lot of certifications that we do have, sharp certification, different things from OSHA, whatnot, for safety. But as far as being 9001 certified, it's a lot. You almost have to be a tier 1 supplier to obtain that certification. Now, the PolyOne Corporation, we do have many 9001 companies. Out of our 41 business units, probably half of them are 9001 certified. And we may in the future, but our industry just hasn't really required that. If it was a part directly on a shelf, maybe, but since it's a raw material we supply, it's not as important to our industry, if that makes sense.
We are. We became ISO certified in 2012. More and more of our product is going to OEM manufacturers, so we found that it was required. And we started it out because we were looking for a more controlled process to put our product through, so that we could guarantee the quality of our product at the end of it and the consistency of the product. So basically with the ISO, we were like, well, maybe we won't get our certification, we'll just kind of take this model and go with it. And by the time we got there, it was like, we might as well get certified, and it allowed us, so we're the drill manufacturer, we're the drill supplier for a manufacturer of a robotic excavator, a Brock, that's made in Sweden. And if we hadn't done that, we wouldn't have been able to be that exclusive supplier for them. So it was worth it for us.
I'm coming to you.
All three of you mentioned introductory positions, and somebody mentioned the living wage, this sort of thing. What does that mean for your companies? If a person came in today and you brought them on, what does that mean in terms of a hourly rate, and do your companies provide benefits?
So I'll start with our company. When we bring an employee in, we start out at fair wage. I want to say, I'm not speaking to 100%, but I think it's around 16 bucks an hour. So it's a fair wage to start out on the floor, pushing parts, learning what we do. And then we do a qualification type system where we have many different areas and cells you can work in our facility. You know, we'll have a cell that's working in the Cat 50s, we'll have a cell that's producing this material, we have a water jet cell, we have different cells is what we call it. And you can get a qualification for each cell, and as you pick up these qualifications, your wages increase. So it always challenges the employees, you know, if they like 16 bucks an hour, they can just do that forever if they want to. But if they want to increase their wage and become a valuable part of our industry, you can get qualifications in all areas, and you can top out at a very handsome wage. So, and benefits, yeah, we offer vision, dental, health. Our benefits are pretty extensive, 401k. Being the PolyOne Corporation, they're pretty generous with their benefits. They're not bad, so.
So we start out at $14 an hour. That would be the guy that's sweeping up the floor in the shop. We offer health care, which includes, it doesn't include dental, but it includes the eyes. We pay 80% of that for their entire family, so it's not just for the employee. We offer a SEP retirement program, paid vacations, holidays.
I'm not certain what our starting wage is. I guess that's part of why sending the marketing manager may not have been the best idea. But I do know that we offer employee health care. We have a 401k with company matching. We have generous time off. We usually give paid time off between Christmas and New Year's. We have vacation and sick time. And we do have merit-based raises is the word I'm looking for.
A quick show of hands, do you drug test? Yes, raise your hand if your company drug tests for employees. I was just curious, the city does. Okay, what else? Any other questions? Oh, I got another one over here.
For Colorado Yurt, I realize it's a custom product and there's a whole range of prices, but what does a teepee, a small teepee, or the smallest yurt you make cost?
Teepees range in price, depending upon what package you get and the add-ons, from about $1,000 to maybe $3,500 with the 9 different sizes and the different options. The tents go from probably $1,500 up to $5,000. Yurts, there's 5 different sizes and tons of different options, so anywhere from about $8,000 to, I sold one yesterday for $30,000, so.
And if you want to see one close by, would you say, other than coming and visiting your company, they're available to camp and reservations at Ridgeway State Park?
Correct, and there is a list of yurts to visit, teepees to visit, and tents to visit on our website. If you're traveling and you want to stay in one of our products, you can see a list of customers there that are renting them.
This is for Gordon Composites. About 25 years or so ago, you were experimenting with springs for 18-wheelers, etc. How did that turn out?
It actually did okay. We'll probably get back into that arena. The one thing we found with that is it was hard to make. And with an OEM, they want you to make one of those in like every 3 seconds. They want you to crank out these springs quick. And then you got to be ISO certified. You've got to be a tier 1 supplier. So we ended up running into a lot of hurdles, and it ended up being harder to get to where we needed to be. But we actually had a fleet of, I want to say, I don't know, Chevy or Ford, that actually ran our composite leaf spring for quite a while, and it almost went into fruition, but we just couldn't produce them fast enough. It was very labor intensive for us. So.
I think we have time for one more question.
Sue, what it is about TEI drills that makes them unique?
Well, so the unique part of TEI is we have a lot of power in a small package, and it tends to be more lightweight. So our patented feed frame is made differently than anybody else's in the industry to keep it lightweight, but still as strong and as robust as what they're producing. And then just being able to, so we have a small track drill that we manufacture that can tram through a standard sized doorway, so it can go into any building that you need it to go into to repair the foundation. It's all electric, so there's no emissions that you have to worry about. And you know, with electric power, you can go 100 foot away and you're still gonna have the same power that you started out with. And then also, we have the first patent in probably 50 years on a percussion drill unit. So we've actually, my dad always said a drill's always trying to beat itself apart. So what he and my brother came up with was a way so that the drill, if it's not hitting against something hard, it'll actually power down. Most people have a dampening system. Ours actually powers down so it doesn't destroy the drill.
Thank you. Let's give them all a round of applause. Thank you so much, and I know you guys have got samples or some of the composite stuff is up here to come look at it, and it's kind of fun to touch that. Let me tell you a little bit about what I can tell you about next week. So, the city recently completed, with the help of RPI Consulting, through a grant from the Department of Local Affairs through their Main Street program, completed a market analysis and opportunity assessment for the city of Montrose. And so Chelsea Rosti is coming with the author from RPI of that report, and it addresses some of the things, specifically our downtown area and our market geography, consumer demographic profile, retail market opportunity assessment, role of downtown and existing conditions, base industry market assessment, strategies and recommendations. So I think those are all really fancy ways of saying, how do we continue to invest in our downtown? What does the future of the downtown look like for Montrose? And what is the city working on through this consultant and that report? So that's what we'll be talking about next week. Hope to see you all here again and have a fantastic week. Thank you so much.